all who listen to this happy pod, welcome. My name is Noel Parker, and this is my world of wonder, and I'm joined again by my beautiful wife and co-host, Adriana.
And today we wanted to talk about one of our favorite ways to have adventures on a time budget.
Yes, and what that means is basically like, I'm a manager of a Dairy Queen, which means I don't get a lot of time in the summer to take vacations, really. But we want to have like adventures and like experience things. Yeah. Especially in the summertime when it's because we live in Colorado, so it's not very easy to do that in the wintertime. So the summertime is like our prime time to do it.
For sure.
But when you manage a Dairy Queen, that is busy season, so you don't really get allotted that time. So what we have done in the past, like I feel like we've done it at least once every year for the last 5 years.
Probably.
Where we basically just load up the car with snacks and water.
Yeah.
And we drive somewhere we experience an adventure.
Yeah, a bunch of road trips.
Yeah, somewhere you can drive to in a day, experience it, and then the key part of it for us is coming back the same day. Because I typically get 2 days off a week, but they're usually not like consecutive. Yeah. It's usually like a Friday or a Wednesday off and then a Sunday off.
Yeah.
And Sundays for church, so with exceptions occasionally, but yeah, so that is the main topic today.
Yes.
But before we get into all of that, I wanted to talk about a piece of news that Disney Parks dropped probably 2 weeks ago at this point. Nice. Because it came out in between when you and I recorded our last podcast, the trivia podcast, and when Marcy and I recorded the Up and Away rewatch, and those were actually only 2 days apart. So that happened a long time ago. But all that to say, the Disneyland, oh my goodness gracious,
Disney Parks.
Walt Disney World in Florida, Magic Kingdom, has closed the Frontierland Shootin' Gallery or Shootin' Arcade, which was a free-to-play walk-up attraction where you basically, it was like an arcade game where you have the little rifle and you shoot lasers at targets and you get points. But it was free and there was really no points. I say that it's closed. I'm pretty sure it's closed. If it isn't closed now, it is closing soon. And okay, here's my thing with it.
Why are they doing that?
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. It doesn't bother me that they're closing it because I have never done it before. Yeah. I've walked past it every single time I've been in that park. It's not like I don't care for it. It's just not something that would really spark my attention or curiosity. So I never did it, and it's not really anything that seems super fun to do when you can just do it in an arcade. Yeah. Granted, it was free, so well, minus park admission, but but the fact that they're closing it makes me think. I don't remember if I was talking to Caleb or if it was you and I talking or what, but I remember talking about thinking that they are going to re-theme Frontierland in Magic Kingdom, and it is not going to be Frontierland anymore. And I am being pushed further in that direction by this news. Combined with the Country Bear Musical Jamboree getting ready to open. Because the Country Bear Musical Jamboree is supposed to be a Grand Ole Opry style show. And the Grand Ole Opry is like a huge music venue. It's a big thing in Tennessee. Not the Frontier.
Yeah.
Tennessee is not the Frontier. Okay. And then Tiana's Bayou Adventure is being themed to New Orleans. Not the Frontier.
Oh, right. So you think they're...
All I'm getting at is I think that we are getting a retheme of that area. Yeah. And I think Frontierland... And part of me was originally thinking that Frontierland is going away. I don't think that is necessarily the case. It could be, but part of me is curious if our Beyond Big Thunder Mountain expansion that we're getting in Magic Kingdom is going to become New Frontierland, where they'll retheme that area, or I guess not retheme it because there is no theme. It's grass right now, but they're going to repurpose that empty land into a new frontier land of some kind.
Okay.
Because Big Thunder has to make sense somewhere,
Right.
and it doesn't make sense next to a bayou.
Yeah.
So those two things, the Country Bear Musical Jamboree being Grand Ole Opry style or inspired, and the Shootin' Arcade being shut down, pushes my thinking that is happening.
That makes sense.
And yeah, so we'll see what happens. I've said numerous times that I don't like to speculate on here, but this is something that I feel strongly about. Like, I could be totally wrong, and I'm mentally prepared for myself to be wrong.
Yeah.
But the cards seem to be falling into place.
Yeah. Interesting.
So there's that. And then also, I guess in additional news, Test Track has officially closed for its reimagining to what will be Test Track 3.0, but the fourth iteration of a ride in that building.
Okay.
So cool. That's going to be fun. I'm excited. Unfortunately, that means we won't get to ride Test Track this year when we go.
Have I ridden it before?
Yeah, we went on it. It's the one where you would go in and you would like design your own car.
Oh, right.
So we won't get to ride that. However, Rock and Roller Coaster is open.
Yeah,
so we will get to ride that.
Yeah.
So, and that's the fun thing with Disney, or not fun thing. It's kind of annoying to be honest, but it is kind of what keeps it fresh, is that we have gone twice. This is our second time going, and something is not going to be available for us to ride.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we got to ride it last time, so.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
That is the Disney news for now. My reactions to it, my gut feelings towards what's happening in Magic Kingdom right now. But yeah, as we get started, I want to invite you all to head over to Instagram or TikTok and give us a follow by picking your platform and then searching for Noah Parker's World of Wonder. My beautiful wife is doing such an amazing job with consistency, especially. That's where I think I would fail the most. Consistency with uploading videos, shorts to YouTube and TikToks and Instagram reels, and I really appreciate you doing that for me.
Of course, consistency is key.
Yes, it is. It is big, and I've got the consistency side down on the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
But the shorts and stuff, like as I said before, like managing a Dairy Queen is very difficult. Now, you are a teacher right now. You're on break, so I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like it probably is a little bit easier right now.
Yeah.
But
it is.
I really appreciate it, especially when you're like in the middle of the school year and you still find the time to get it done for me.
Of course.
It means a lot, and I love that you have always pushed my dreams as much as if they were your own. And I thank you for that.
Of course.
And yeah. Okay. TikTok and Insta out of the way.
Let's talk about our day trips.
Yes. What was our first one? I put 1 and 2 in there.
Uh-huh.
Everything else is in order, more or less.
I feel like our trip to the Arches was the first one.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I think that was our very first one.
Okay.
Because I randomly, one day before his birthday, so I wanted to do something for Noah's birthday. And so I was thinking, how old were you turning? Like 20... I don't think it was 21. No,
I was well beyond 21.
Yeah, it was like 20, I don't know.
Maybe 24 or 5? 24, maybe?
Yeah, 24, I think. Yeah, 24. I think it was 24.
Was it in 2020 or was it in... It was 2020, so let's see.
Wait, so 2020, that made me like 21.
It was 4 years ago.
23.
Yeah. Okay, so I was turning 23.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so there you go.
So he was 23 and I wanted to do something fun.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 23.
And I was just like, what if we go to Utah and literally come back the same day? Because I also had like a surprise like get together that evening.
It wasn't that evening. It was the following Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was the same day.
No, it wasn't the same day.
Really?
Yeah. It definitely was not the same day.
No, I thought it was because we came back and you like took a long nap or like an hour nap and then people showed up at our apartment.
No, it was the following Sunday.
Then what was it?
For sure. The reason that I know that for a fact is because we didn't get back from Utah until midnight.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we left like literally at like 4 a.m. We got there at 8, and then we got we like started going back at like 2 or something, got home at like 6.
No, we were back home after midnight.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember talking about doing a day trip, and I remember being like, oh, it was really, really close because it was almost a different day. I guess it was just before midnight, but it was like 11:30 or something, but it was still late. It was the birthday party was like the next day or a day or two later.
Okay. Well, anyway, we went and we decided to take your old car. Right.
Yes, the old Focus. That was a mistake.
Do you want to explain why?
Yeah. So that was probably the worst decision we made. The only bad decision I think we made was that. And then we made a decision later on that I don't regret, but I wish we had made a different decision. But we'll get to that. So the issue with driving my Focus is I used to drive a 2004 Ford Focus that was a 5-speed manual ZX5. Loved that car. Still love it, but it was time to move on. So it was a manual transmission. To get to Utah from Longmont, Colorado, to get to Moab, which is where the Arches National Park is, National Monument. National Monument. You have to take I-70, which once you get past Denver is basically only mountain interstate. Yeah. And a 5-speed manual transmission Toyota Focus, what the heck, Ford Focus, doesn't have a whole lot of kick, a lot of get up and go to it in 2005 or 2004.
Since this is a manual, especially
so
gravity working up against the car.
Yeah, you don't notice it in an automatic, but when you're going uphill, your car will downshift because it needs higher revolutions to the tire to get it to actually climb the hill effectively at a decent speed. When you're doing it in a manual transmission vehicle, you have to downshift, and I was basically downshifting from 5th into 4th and sometimes into 3rd just to get to the top of a hill, and that little car did not want to get to the top of the hill sometimes.
So we were going like 40 miles an hour while everyone out on the right side of the interstate.
The speed limit in that part of the interstate I think is like 65.
Yeah,
everyone's
60,
doing
like
80,
70,
but yeah,
and we're just like slow.
I was creeping up some of those mountains.
That was funny.
And it was also my first time driving in the mountains in a manual. I've only been driving manual since January of 2020. So this was only 6 months after I got the car that we took it through the mountains. It was hard. It was rough. Bad idea. My left leg, which is the clutch leg, hurt so bad at the end of it.
Yeah. Was there a reason why we took that car instead of my car? I feel like maybe my car was like having problems or something.
No. I think I just wanted to drive my car. Yeah. Because when I bought my Focus, I was so excited to have a Ford. It was my first Ford, and I was a diehard Forder at the time. And it was manual, and I was like, oh, I see videos of people all the time driving manuals in the mountains, and it's so fun. Right. Not that way, man. Not that way. Canyon drives are fun, but on an interstate that is designed for efficiency and not scenery, it was hard and painful and annoying. Oh, man. It wasn't really that hard. It was mostly how annoying it was that I would be going. And it's when you're in the mountains driving, you don't really notice when you're on an incline. Yeah. But when you're in a manual, you notice because you're doing 70 and then all of a sudden you're doing 40. Right. And you feel like your car is just struggling to crest the hill. Oh, man. That's so funny. So that was my bad decision.
Oh, yeah.
Of the trip.
Yeah, but we got to, I don't know where, we weren't still in Utah, I don't think, but we were driving because we left like early.
Early, before the sun came up, we were on the road.
Yeah, and I have a tiny lantern.
Oh my Lord, does she ever?
And so we must, take frequent stops and road trips. And so we got to, I think, maybe 2 hours or maybe an hour, I don't know, an hour and a half. And we were in the middle of nowhere. And I had to use the restroom really bad. And so, do you remember this? We had to like pull over. We found a gas station or something. But the gas station wasn't even open yet.
Yeah,
because
I know exactly. Yeah,
we were.
Well, I knew where we were pulling off because in the past when my family had done, I don't remember where we were going. I think we were going to like Glenwood Springs or something. And when we had gone up there, I knew exactly where an exit was and where the gas station was.
Yeah.
And that's when you said you had to pee. And so I pulled off at a old reliable gas station. It wasn't open.
It was not open. So
because it was too early, not because they closed. It was because we got there at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So like I go and I'm like walking up and I open the door or try to open the door and everything. And it doesn't budge. And I'm like, shoot, is it even open? And I check my phone and it's like, oh, it's not even open for like another hour or so.
Yeah, I think they opened at like 6 or 7 or something.
I was like, well, and thankfully it was early in the morning. There weren't that many cars or people. So, well, we were just like, I guess I'm just going to have to pee in a bush. I've had many experiences.
Yeah. When you have a tiny bladder, that happens from time to time.
With that.
I think that's why I feel like that's why I can hold my pee for so long is because I was... Growing up, I remember pulling off on the interstate to pee one time and it mortified me.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened? I don't even know this story.
I was just like, I was young. I was a kid and I was like super embarrassed about the fact that I was peeing on the side of the road. And just ever since then, I'm like, I mean, now I'm a grown man and if I have had to, I would. I did actually once, but we'll get to that later. It's kind of one of the one of the ones on the list here, but
cool.
But yeah.
So that happened.
From there it was pretty smooth, I think, until we got to Utah. Mm-hmm. Even then it was pretty smooth. It was hot. It was hot. Oh my goodness, was it hot? Mm-hmm. But we did we bring the Camelback? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a Camelback at that point. I mean, we still have it, but we haven't used it in a couple of years. I need to replace the bladder. Yeah, new bladder. But yeah. And I took my camera one. Actually, this whole faithful thing has been with me for quite some time, and I took a lot of photos that trip, and a lot of photos that I was really proud of, and some photos that I'm like, why did I do that?
It was so gorgeous. The last time
beautiful.
The last time I was there was when I was a kid, so like experiencing it again as an adult was just breathtaking, and just taking it all in, and. Yeah, it was just really breathtaking. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I remember first getting kind of close to it and seeing like the Colorado, like gray, dull mountains slowly shifting into the brilliant orange that they are in Utah. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. I remember just seeing that and just being like, oh my goodness, creation is so beautiful. I know, it is. And, this was also like in 2020, like you said. So I feel like another reason why I wanted to do something this adventurous was because of 2020. Probably. So, like I want to just get out, and there were people wearing masks, and this was still like during the time where like it was like, oh, like this is like we don't know what this virus is, and everyone was still kind of like very cautious and social distancing. I feel like. Yeah, especially in the visitor center. Yeah. Once we got outside, I feel like people were less like stay the heck away from me and more like just keep a respectful distance. But you know, there are people like nobody. I only remember seeing a couple people wearing masks while we were outside. That's true. And so I remember the water fountains outside of the visitor center were closed because of COVID. But they had one inside that was open, but it was like one. Yeah, I remember. And it was warm. The water was so warm. Yeah. And actually, I think I'm backwards. I think the ones inside were closed, but there was one outside. Yeah, there was one outside that worked. Yeah. And the water was so warm. Yeah, that was But like, hard. It was water, so we kind of just went with it. That's what we should have put on the table. What? Was the Arches water bottle. Yeah. Oh, wow. Because maybe we didn't take the Camelback because we did. We bought the 2 water bottles out of necessity, not because we wanted them, because we had to buy them. No, I thought. Well, I don't know. Maybe we brought the Camelback and then we were like, we need more water. I think so. I think that's why. Because I remember buying 2 water bottles, and it was because we felt like we had to, not because we wanted to. Yeah. No. Yeah. But anyway, that's funny. Yeah. But yeah, and like I feel like next time we go, I want to hike the arch, like the famous arch. That is the decision that we made that I wish we had made a different decision. That was where I was getting to with that. We decided not to take the long hike to go see the freestanding arch. We opted instead to drive for what seemed like forever to a parking area where there was a short hike. It was probably a 10-15 minute hike to a viewing area where you could see it. And I got a lot of good pictures of it, and I'm happy with those, but I wish we had walked up to it. Well, next time
Yeah.
Always next time.
And then, that was also tough with the focus because the hills are a lot steeper once you're inside the park. Mm-hmm. That was so bad. Yeah. But, It
was a really fun time.
And then we came back, and the main reason I distinctly remember that we got back so late is because I remember starting the drive back and being like, oh my gosh, it's going to be dark by the time we get home. Mm-hmm. But it actually got like dark while we were still in the mountains.
Oh. Okay.
I distinctly remember that because I remember, getting like anxious because like the weird bends in the road. Like I am really comfortable when I can see this is weird, but when I see headlights coming the opposite direction, like there's a piece of mind that you're gonna get ahead, like if that makes sense. Like there is forward progress to be made. Right. But when there's no headlights coming towards you, like you don't see other cars coming your direction, you're like, oh my gosh, is there like, my brain was like going like, oh my gosh, is there a landslide up ahead? Like, is there a boulder in the middle of the road and I'm not going to be able to get home? Like I remember distinctly having that fear. And that's why I remember that we got home so late that night. But now seems like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Excellent. So we just finished off, I think, arches. Yes. To a comfortable position.
What do you want to talk about next?
I'm just kind of want to go in order for the most part because I'm pretty sure number 4 was among several different things all at once. But
so Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, yes. Maybe one thing we should mention actually is that the Arches National Monument or National Park. I can't remember if it's monument or park. How far away it is from us. So let me.
Okay.
National Park. Okay, it's National Park, guys. Because that's kind of the part of this is part of it is like the actual drive.
Okay.
Because we're talking about
like the distance.
Being able to do it in a day, and being able to do it in a day, it's important to know how far it is.
Yeah. Like how many miles and hours it takes to get
there?
Sure.
Miles and hours works.
Okay. Well, I think for hours it was like 4-ish.
6 hours. 6 hours and 3 minutes.
Okay.
I thought that was the longest one we've done so far.
Yeah.
Which is also the first one we've done.
That makes sense.
But it's also, so it was long. It was a 6-hour drive, but it was also one of the most fun, I think. Mm-hmm. Not to discredit any of the other ones we've done. Mm-hmm. But that one I think was the most fun because like really 6 hours is not that far. Mm-hmm. It's not that long. It's actually, I know it's not the longest one we've done actually. Okay. I take that back immediately because that's the last thing we're talking, or second to last thing we'll talk about. But yeah, from Longmont, Colorado, it's 6.024 hours away. 383 miles.
Okay.
Really, really easy to do in my opinion. If you like driving, I feel like if you don't like driving, it's probably not that fun. Yeah. But if you
get people who
get like a group of people together, a group of like 3 or 4 friends, and make sure hopefully most of you can drive. Don't take a manual transmission vehicle that your wife doesn't know how to drive. Take an automatic so she can also drive. That was also probably part of my feeling like it was a mistake because I had to drive the entire time. Yeah. But it was also fun because I really do like to drive. Yes. Anywho. Okay. So that's Arches. Next up would be just simply Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yes. What was this also in 2020 or was
this I think was also in 2020. No, it was 2021. Okay. It was the following summer. Well, actually, I can tell you because we put up a YouTube video on it. If you guys are curious to watch our day trip vlog when we went to Cheyenne, Wyoming, I will have it linked in the description below. On both.
Upload it?
Yeah. Oh. On both the YouTubes and all major podcast platforms.
That's so funny because I actually don't remember. I thought we just vlogged, but we didn't actually end up uploading it.
We did upload it. It was actually the last video I uploaded to YouTube before we started the podcast.
Nice.
And now that's quite a ways down the list, so give me just a second to find it.
I guess it's 2021.
I'm starting to think it was 2020 because I think
maybe it was 2020.
I think I stopped uploading in 2020. There it is. Cheyenne, Wyoming, day trip, episode 1, July 29th, 2020. So this is actually only a month after we did Arches.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And that actually was probably one of our better performing videos up to that point. Much better than the podcast, I'll tell you that.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, average at least.
How many views did it get?
That one had 225.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I can't. I mean, I could, but our best performing video was from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That one has 348,000 views, but the next best one is under 1,000, so it's kind of rough. But yeah. So Cheyenne, Wyoming. Sorry. We've actually done this several times. That one is an hour and 12 minutes away from us, so that one's
so fun.
A little
easy
bit.
To do.
It's almost easier than driving to Denver.
Yeah.
It's 74.1 miles, but not a lot of traffic, and
it's really only an hour.
You're doing exactly 75 miles an hour the whole way, and never going any faster than that ever once. Not like 90 or anything like that. 75 strictly.
It's really only an hour away.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah. Again, just one day, I think both of us were just really bored, and we are just like, let's do something. Let's just go to Wyoming.
Was that the day that I was really, really into ghost towns, and we were trying to find one?
I don't think so, no.
Are you sure? Because I remember we were trying to find one, and I drove way out into like Livermore and like up to Virgindale.
Maybe it ended up being like...
And we went like way up. We ended up in Wyoming on accident.
Oh, no, it wasn't on accident. I remember like we planned to go to Wyoming to just check it out.
Okay, well that must have been later then.
Yeah, but that was fun. We just went up there, and first thing we looked at was I think the Capitol or something. Yeah,
we went to the Capitol building because I don't know why I got really interested in that kind of thing. It was strange.
Are you looking at the video? Or what are you looking at?
I was just looking to see, because I thought we did a video with Caleb as well to Fort Morgan, but I can't remember if we actually did a video or not for that.
I remember you on your phone blogging it, but I don't think you ever uploaded
I don't think we did.
Yeah, no. That was interesting.
It was definitely an experience. Some things happened there that I wasn't mentally prepared for. Yeah, no, we did not. But that's okay. Regardless, Cheyenne was probably one of the easier ones we've done. It was definitely the easiest one we've done because it was basically like just driving to Denver or Colorado Springs maybe. Yeah, so we went to the Capitol building. What did I do next? I think I don't know, like
the boot. We went to the
we went to see some of the boots because they have colorful boots plastered all over the city.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Longmont actually has a very similar thing, but we have giant geese.
Oh, yeah.
Because Colorado seems to be like the second home for Canadian geese. I know they're elsewhere. They go to other places, but
I didn't know that.
We have a lot of Canadian geese, especially in Longmont, I feel like. So we have colorful painted geese, and then they decided that was too difficult, so then they started doing colorful painted electrical boxes. And I believe my uncle painted one of them. Cool. If they haven't repainted it, I will find out where it is and we'll go look at it. But
that's cool.
I could be wrong, and he may not have painted one. I know he painted a goose actually, and maybe I know where that one is. So we can maybe go look at that one too. But anywho, we looked at the boots. And then I was really into trains too. Yeah, so we went to the old train museum. Well, it is a train museum now, but it was the train station. It was like the main train station in Cheyenne. Yeah. When people actually
a train. Did we watch a train? Yeah, I think
we watched several trains, I think.
Yeah, we watched several.
Because they also have a huge roundhouse for CSX, which is where they turn around the locomotives. Because, they have a reverse gear, but they're obviously more efficient one direction over the other. So they have a table that turns them around so they can make it.
Is that where we did like a little photo shoot with the train tracks, or no? No, I think that was probably
for our, no.
I think that was a different.
Yeah, the tracks for our, I think that was our.
I don't know where those tracks.
Our engagement photos, right?
No, I'm thinking of a different thing, but.
Well, I don't know then.
But yeah, so and then we I remember getting dinner at a restaurant.
Yes.
That was very yummy.
It was.
We had like burgers.
It was like weird because it was like food that I know we could get in town of Longmont, but we drove an hour to go do it. It was different.
Like
it was a fun experience.
A local, yeah.
And I remember those servers being like so overly nice.
Yeah, they were nice.
It was a good experience. And then I mean it's for us like that one is like we probably left at like 10 in the morning or maybe 9.
No, I think we left kind of like in the afternoon, honestly.
Okay, but then we were back before dinner. Like no, we had dinner up there.
Yeah, we were back at like,
we were back. I think we had dinner and we drove home.
Yeah, we had dinner and then we had
yeah. So but we took an alternate route home. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it was cool.
So yeah, Wyoming, Cheyenne. It's basically like really the only reason that was interesting is because it's not home.
Right.
Like we have Denver here, but like it's a whole different city and it's fun to experience and it's close.
Exactly.
Cool. And then I'm gonna skip. I'm not gonna do 3 right now. I want to talk about 4 because that was I think the next thing that happened.
Okay.
So over the course between 2020 and 2021, starting before 2020 actually, a little bit, probably 2019, I think. I was up into recently as 2022.
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
I have been to Kansas like 5-6 times.
Yeah, it's because your brother lives
there. My brother lives there, and so he's about 7 hours away from us, so just a little bit further than the Arches.
That's true.
The first time we went was actually, it wasn't a day trip, but it was a shorter one, I think, when we went up for New Year's in 2020. And I think we spent the night and drove back the next day.
Yeah.
Or maybe we stayed up there for a couple days.
We stayed for a couple days.
So that one doesn't count as a day trip.
Yeah.
But that was the first time we went. Well, it wasn't the first time because I'd gone a couple times before.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So the first.
It totally can be.
The second time we went.
A day trip.
Was later in 2020 when Caleb and I were on the brink of starting a race team, and we were going to race in a series out at our local speedway, Colorado National Speedway. We were going to race in a series there called Pro Stock or Pure Stock. And so I bought a car off of Facebook Marketplace, 1971 Ford Torino, because of course, like I said before, I was a Ford diehard at the time. I wasn't going to drive anything but Ford. And I'm not a mechanic, and the car didn't run. So my brother, Andrew, who will be on the podcast someday if I can get enough footage out of him that I don't have to bleep or cut out. He is a mechanic, and he has been drag racing since I don't even remember when. But he had a Pontiac Grand Le Mans that he drag raced that used to belong to our grandfather. So he's been, we call him straight track racing, or I guess it'd be drag racing. I call him straight track racing. Because they just basically go straight. Lots of skill goes into it. Lots of skill goes into building it. There's a lot of skill behind driving it too, but I think the building is highlighted a lot in drag racing. And I wanted to be a round racer, which is what we call oval track racing. And so we took a car out to him that we bought. We hauled it out there and had him start working on it for us. And my dad and I loaded the car up onto a U-Haul trailer. We drove it out there. I think Mom was with us actually. We drove it out to Kansas. We dropped it at my brother's house. We dropped the trailer at another U-Haul place out there, and then we drove back.
Nice.
We were at his house and back home in like 17 hours.
Wow.
We literally drove straight there, dropped the car, said hello, maybe threw back a beer or two, and then drove home.
Yeah, wow.
That one was dumb. That one was crazy. Actually, that one was probably closer to like 23 hours. I think we took most of the day to do that one. A couple months later, he finished with the car, and we wanted to have it back in our sites so we could get it out to the track for testing and get registered and everything, and basically become a certified oval track racer. And I needed to get the car back. It needed to get back to my house. So Dad and I, the mistake we made on the first one is, if you take a U-Haul trailer out of state and you don't bring it back with you, they charge you like 4 times as much than if you just drop it off the same place you took it from.
Wow.
So what we did is we called up everyone around here, basically, around town, that every U-Haul place, and we found a U-Haul trailer, flatbed trailer. We drove a naked, empty trailer all the way out to Kansas. We loaded the car up and we drove back. That one was like 16 hours. Like that was as close to driving there, getting it on the trailer, and driving back as you can possibly get.
Wow.
While still being able to eat and stop to pee and get fuel. That hurt.
Yeah.
Physically. Okay. But I had the car back in Longmont at like 11 or 1 in the morning on Sunday.
So many things you can do with time.
That one was crazy.
24 hours, actually.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I was very tired at the end of that one.
Yeah.
But that's not the worst one. I think the worst day trip I've made, but it was also one of my favorites next to Arches. I think it'd be second next to Arches. Is when, so we got married we had our ceremony in Daytona Beach, Florida, in July of 2021. And as mentioned previously with the whole roundy round thing, I'm obviously a fan of NASCAR. And there's a racetrack. The closest track that they race on to us is the Kansas Motor Speedway. And they have a race there in September. And my brother was in the he was in the service, and service members in the state get tickets for free to go see the races. Mm-hmm. And they usually give them extra tickets. They'll give them one for the soldier and then a couple extra for family. And so he got 3 tickets for myself, him, and Caleb. The issue was we didn't think it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, I did not think we were going to be able to get it to happen. Yeah. Because of work and timing and money a little bit. Mm-hmm. But we were able to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And we knew we were going to be able to make it happen on Saturday at like, what was it, like 2 in the afternoon? It was in the afternoon when we were like, I got your permission to do it. Because you got to get the wife's permission. Him and his girlfriend had plans on Sunday, and she gave her blessing to abandon those plans. Not abandon them, but postpone those plans to make this brother bonding trip happen. And I think we left at 1 a.m. So I guess within 12 hours of that, we were on the road to drive to a NASCAR race. So about 1 a.m. we left the house.
Got there at like 9.
We got there about 9 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, 1 + 8, 9. Or 1 +
Yeah, probably because we stopped to pee and get breakfast and stuff. So yeah, about 9 o'clock. Maybe 8:30. Yeah. And we pulled up to my brother's house in Kansas, and he's about an hour away from the track. And we had 4 hours to get to the track still before the race started. Mm-hmm. And so then, I went and took a quick little nappy nap in the front seat because he wasn't awake yet. And then he ended up, my oldest brother Andrew ended up driving us to the racetrack because me and Caleb were conked out. We were both pretty tired. Mm-hmm. But as soon as we got to the track, the adrenaline kicked in so bad. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I need to sleep ever again in my life. That's so funny. And we went and watched the race, had a good time, a few beers, hot dogs, bought some merch, a couple hats, shirts, such. Then we drove back to my brother's house, dropped him off, wished my nephew a happy birthday because it was on his birthday. Yeah, and then Caleb and I loaded up in the car, grabbed a couple snacky snacks from the Walmart, and hauled it back home. And I think we got home after 2 a.m. Damn. So this was technically more than 24 hours. Yeah. But it was the roughest one because Caleb and I had both been awake. I think by the end of it, we had been awake for 36 hours straight. Jeez. The racetrack experience, I think, was worth it. Mm-hmm. I would never do it again.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd be capable.
I think it was worth doing it one time, honestly. I 100% think I could do it again. Okay. because I'm the kind of, you know me.
Yeah.
This is not new. I am the kind of person who gets motivated to do something, and come hell or high water, it's going to happen. I'm stubborn. You've been saying it all week. I'm very stubborn. When we drove down to Florida for our wedding ceremony, I was very excited to be almost in Florida when we were in Atlanta, I think, at like 3 a.m. I was very excited that because once you're in Atlanta, we're only a couple 3-4 hours away from my mom and dad's house. Yeah. And I was so motivated that I just drove there. And after we stopped, we got to, mom was having breakfast. So we stopped at the place to have breakfast because we were also hungry. By the time we got there, it set in slowly on me that I should not have been driving for those last 4 hours. I was very tired. I drove right past the diner that they were at.
Really?
We had to turn around and go back because I drove past it because I was it's right there. So. And then there it goes.
Oh my gosh.
I was so tired, but funny. I get excited to do things and I will do whatever I have to do to make it happen.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, so Kansas. Yeah. Kansas is one I would do again.
Good old time.
If I had a day to go see Andrew, I would do it. And we'll probably get one soon-ish, but it's been a while. I need to go see him again. Hopefully, I know he's listening to this. Andrew, I miss you, buddy. I love you. We'll see you soon. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
Perfect.
Let's talk about number 3 now, the last one. I'll let you do most of the talking because I talked so much just now.
So yeah, the sand dunes. We decided to go to the sand dunes recently. And so my friend and Noah and I, we decided to go to the sand dunes on a Sunday, super early in the morning. My friend got to our house at 4 a.m, I believe. Yeah. And Noah was very tired because unfortunately he had to work the night before, or closed the night before, so he got barely any hours of sleep. He had a couple of monsters ready for him to go, which I think you only had one.
No, I drank 2.
Oh, okay.
I drank 1 on the drive down there.
Okay.
After I decided I wasn't going to be able to sleep.
Oh, okay.
And I drank 1 on the way back.
Okay. But yeah, so we got everything ready. I got up at 4. Yeah, I think we left at 4:30. So I got up at 4. I let Noah sleep for a couple more minutes because my friend was running a little 15 minutes late. So he literally took advantage of those 15 minutes.
Oh, I sure did.
Yeah, he was literally zonked out, and it was so funny. I had to wake him up again. But I got everything ready for him. I got his stuff ready. I got
Get you a wife like mine, guys. But not mine. She's mine. You can't have this one. Just find one like her.
I got all the water bottles. We have so many water bottles. I had them all filled up with ice and everything. We brought our cooler. We had our snacks. And we were ready to go. And so I tried to tell Noah to try and sleep on the ride there, but he couldn't.
I don't sleep well in cars.
Yeah.
I used to, I feel like. When I was really young, because my family's, we've done road trips because I think I've said this before on the podcast, but Mom and Dad had 8 kids. Plane tickets for 8 kids gets expensive fast.
Yeah.
Driving a car costs the same no matter how many people are in the car.
Right.
So we road tripped everywhere we went, especially to Florida. I feel like when I was young, I used to be able to sleep in the car.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, I started getting more. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's anxiety. It probably is. I probably have a little bit of car anxiety. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just get. I guess. Yeah. I get kind of anxious when I'm not in control.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now airplanes are a different story because.
Yeah,
I don't know. I trust. I trust science.
Yeah.
And how the plane stays in the air and it will continue to stay in the air unless.
Jello.
Yeah. Exactly. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to run into anything.
Right.
I guess that's the biggest thing is I guess in a car I get anxious about other people being stupid and causing an accident.
Yeah.
When you're in an airplane, I mean, if we crash into another plane while we're flying, it was time to go.
So Noah doesn't sleep pretty much. Well, he doesn't sleep at all. I mean, maybe he slept a little bit after we had lunch that day, but I
tried really hard to after lunch. I really did.
Yeah, no, but my friend and I were just like chit-chatting the whole time there. I felt pretty good. I mean, I got like a decent hours of sleep, so and same with Sophie. So we were just, and Sophie, my friend, she drove the whole way there. I think we only stopped like once. I think it was only like a 4 hour drive.
Yeah, it's 200 and 55 miles.
Oh yes, 255 miles. So we get there finally, and it was just very, very cool to see. Like, it was our first time being there ever. And so that was really cool to experience that. I didn't even know that the sand dunes were honestly a thing in Colorado until kind of recently. And we first got there, we could see the sand dunes. They looked little.
Yeah, they look little when you're pulling up to them.
But then they get like huge.
Especially once you start walking up to them, you're like, oh my Lord.
Compared to the mountains, I guess, obviously, right?
I mean, yeah, they're tiny compared to the mountains, but
one perspective, right? So
yeah. Well, sorry, you people in Tennessee might think the sand dunes are huge too.
So we get there, and we take pictures of the sign, in front of the sign, of course, and we get a pin. We went to the visitor center. We took some pictures just near the visitor center.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided to go closer, obviously, and we parked. I think we parked in the visitor center.
Yeah. Bad idea. Low key.
Yeah, Sophie didn't want to pay for parking, I think, or something. I don't know.
I don't think you pay for parking. I think once you pay at the visitor center, you're paid.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know why we didn't.
Shoot, if that was the case, I would have paid for it. What the heck? I didn't know that.
According to her, from last time she went, they parked there and it was fine. So I guess she was just going off of her memory. So, but we trusted her and we followed her. We took a little hiking route to get closer to the sand dunes. And
we had like a 15-minute hike before we started the hike.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool, I guess.
It was fun. I mean, my fat rear end needed that, so it's fine.
No, it was fun. And we got a little bit lost on the way.
Yeah, but it was simple though, because we turned left and we should have turned right. That was really the only thing we did.
Yeah, we turned left, walked a little bit, and then the trail was starting to disappear, and we were like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And so we went back up, looked to the right, and we saw the entrance right there, which is
literally
really pretty
if we had looked to the right where when we had this fork in the road, we would have seen it, but we didn't. We looked left and just started walking.
I know, which is funny, which is crazy. But yeah, we saw the entrance, which was gorgeous. Like this little.
It's so surreal.
Yeah, like how would you describe it? Like a little arch.
Kinda like a natural archway. Made out of branches, not like the arches that are made out of stone.
Right, and so that was pretty. We walked through, and bam, there were the sand dunes, really close up, and we went during the time where there's water from the snow.
The glaciers.
The glaciers, that melted. And so that was very cool to experience. It was only like ankle deep.
Yeah, at the deepest.
Yeah, at the deepest.
But most of it wasn't that deep. Most of it barely came up the soles of our shoes.
It was still cool. We took some pictures, some videos, and there was funny. There was people like camping out.
Yeah.
And probably just camped out the whole day. I'm like, oh, I mean, it would have. I don't know how I would feel about camping. I was just like the whole day, like drive 4 hours and then just like sit there,
Yeah, that was
the whole
weird.
time. I don't know, but that I agree, that was weird. But we decided obviously to like go hike in the sand dunes, which was very hard.
Which is the hardest hike I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, same. And it was very fun and tiring, but because you literally, when you're walking, like the sand and the gravity obviously like pushes you down, so you have to like put in extra effort to
it's like when I was doing it, I was like, man, you have to put in twice as much effort, but like it feels like it's more like it's probably like
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times as much effort.
Right. So
on some of the areas, on when it's really soft on those areas, that was really hard.
Yeah.
There's areas where the sand's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And that was easier, but not easy still. Yeah. Those areas were like 2 times harder than a normal hike.
Yeah, I forgot to mention we got there at like 9 a.m. Sorry. But yeah, we got there at 9 a.m. So 9:30ish.
Yeah.
And we took the hike. I think it took us 3 hours.
2.5, 3 hours to get to the top.
2.5, 3 hours to get to the very top. And it was gorgeous. Just seeing the Rocky Mountains, the sand, and yeah, just.
It was nice. Cool. It was so surreal.
Yeah, it was so surreal.
Yeah. Beautiful though.
Yeah.
Again, I say creation is gorgeous.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And yeah, we had to take a couple breaks, obviously, but like we made it. And we would walk like
old Tom Bumbo over here had to stop like every 5 seconds. I was having a hard time.
Yeah, no,
there was moments where it was like I was like, oh, this ain't no thing, and then 4 minutes later I'm like, I have to stop.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, let's go. Okay, I gotta stop.
Yeah, I know. But it was fun. It was fine.
Yeah,
and fun to just like take our time with it. And everything.
And once we got to the top, it was so rewarding.
Yeah, it was so rewarding.
And like satisfying. Like, especially for me, I was like, I just did a thing. Because I'm not a very active person. So when I did that, I was like, man, I just did that. And I felt really good about myself.
And with like little sleep too, that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, very, very fun. Really, really good time. And then we went back down. It was so fast to go back down, like literally 30 minutes. And instead of like a 3 hour, it like took us 30 minutes to go back down or go back to our car.
My gosh, it was so easy to get back down.
We were like walking on the moon. It
was
like that feeling.
I was all but tumbling down the mountain.
Yeah, I know.
Or the hill, the dune, whatever.
I know.
It was so fast.
Shoes were covered in sand, though.
Yeah, they were. And then as soon as we got back down to the bottom, it started raining.
I know.
Well, not the bottom, but like when we had finished the whole hike and got back to the visitor center, and we changed from our sandy shoes into like more comfortable shoes, and it started pouring rain. Right,
it did. And then this is running me.
It's fine.
The ride home, we had a couple of rain storms, but
yeah, it was super rainy.
Yeah,
at a couple points. Little teeny tiny hail, like smaller than pea size. But
and I decided to help drive back home for a little bit, a couple hours. I think like half the trip, and that's when I started like pouring really hard.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the windshield wipers weren't the best. It was very blurry.
Yeah.
So that was kind of sketch and scary, but we made it alive.
Barely. No.
But yeah, no, it was 10 out of 10 trip.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah.
Oh, got back home at like what time?
Oh, we were back home before dinner.
Yeah.
Like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. It was a really, really easy day, honestly. Fun. That was probably the second easiest, next to going to Wyoming. And it's like being on a different planet.
Yeah.
So like that was one that I'm like totally here for. But basically, the whole gist of this, guys, is yes, adventure is out there. And B, just like, I want to help you unlock your wonder, and I realize when I talk about wonder on the podcast, I'm mostly referring to like childlike wonder, Disney wonder specifically, being your releasing your inner child. But also I kind of want to like, I don't want it to be just that, because it's also just be wondrous about the planet, about what's around you, be adventurous. Specifically, like for me, it's like all those things that we've experienced are so beautiful and so surreal and fun. And it took us a day to do it. And I want to encourage you guys. I want to inspire you guys. Yes. Anyone who gets inspired by it. I just want to inspire you to look at what's close to you.
Have you done it before?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like there's some things that are obvious, like when you live in Colorado, mostly in the northern part like we do, somewhere around Fort Collins, Loveland, Denver, Greeley area. Rocky Mountain National Park is like, oh, obviously, right? But then Arches National Park, maybe not so obvious, but reasonably close. Right. And Great Sand Dunes, like for us, that's a bit far, but like, I mean, if you live in Pueblo or something, that's not that far at all. That's like two and a half hours maybe to get down there. But like, think about where you live, because I'm sure not everyone listening to this podcast lives here, and find things that are
near you,
close, but not close, just within reach, and, you know, make a day out of it, especially if you got some friends, you know, who are also adventurous, you know, that kind of thing. I personally value those trips with my wife a lot, because those days specifically, when we get to do those little trips, with the sand dunes being a little bit of an exception because Sophie was there as well, so it wasn't just us, but Cheyenne and Arches specifically, it was just me and you, and we got to spend a lot of like really good quality time together that day, and it was just us. And most of those days our phones were out of service, which is like, shucks, no service. Exactly. But it's such a good thing to do sometimes. Get away from the phone. And so if you have to go to the Arches to get away from your phone, do it. And I just really value that time that we get to just be together and experience creation.
Same. And
explore. I want to do it soon. I think the next one I want to do with you is Mesa Verde.
Yes.
I don't know when we're going to do it, but I would love to do it. Like, if we could do it on Tuesday, I would do it. But
I know.
that one totally feels like it is doable in a day. And see, that's the weird thing too. Is that Cheyenne is an hour away from us, and that's in a different state, right? And Mesa Verde is 8 hours away.
But it's still in Colorado.
But it's in the same state. And it's because we live so far north in Colorado that we're almost not even in Colorado anymore. Like, so funny. By comparison.
It's how long? 8 hour drive?
7 hours, 42 minutes, but about 8 hours. Wow. But I really want to do that one. I feel like that was probably going to be one of the rougher ones. Definitely going to be a challenge. But maybe it won't be a day trip. Maybe it's not a single day thing. Maybe we stay somewhere overnight. Yeah. But if we do stay somewhere overnight, Four Corners is right there too. So if we do end up staying overnight, I would say let's just go to Four Corners as well.
There you go. Okay.
Cool. But yeah, and then there's just things that are just like that, just within reach. And I want to do things like that, and I want to encourage you to kind of look at things like that for you as well. Maybe you live in, I don't even have any examples. I don't even know if I could give an example right now. There you go. I guess honestly, like if you were living in like Cheyenne, even if you live in Colorado and you're in the northern part like us, you're in Fort Collins or something, Mount Rushmore could be a day trip. If you've never been there before, just check the weather. Because we did it would have been a day trip, but we had a family reunion following in Chadron, Nebraska. And so it turned into a 2-day thing, but I think it could have been a 1-day thing.
Which we're actually going to go to Nebraska this weekend for that, or for a family reunion.
Yeah, so we're actually going next week.
It'll be fun.
What? Did you just... What? Sorry. Mount Rushmore. Okay. Mount Rushmore. See, Mount Rushmore is 5.5 hours away. Mount Rushmore is closer to us than Mesa Verde, and it's 2 states up.
Dang, that's crazy.
Technically. Cool. It's kind of confusing, but it's in South Dakota. But yeah, okay. So all that being said, guys, be wondrous. Wonder about the world. Wonder about what's around you.
Yes.
And be adventure, because adventure is out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic today. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a rating. Let us know in the comments below. comment on something on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Let us know you like this. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and we'll do more stuff like this.
Next week.
Yes. Next week. Next week is a special Disney Parks edition. Specifically Disney current events. Because just a couple days ago for us, like a week ago now on podcast, Communicore Hall has finally opened in Epcot. And that is where there's a lot of things going on over there. Me and Mom will go into more detail with it next week. But basically there's a permanent Mickey and Friends meet and greet area over there, so you don't have to figure out where they are in the park. They'll just be there. I believe there is an eating establishment of some kind. They have some kind of snacks or food or something. And then they also have a stage for performances. Right now there's an Encanto show, I believe, which sounds super freaking cool. I can't wait to talk to Mom about it. And I think that's really it. It's a purpose-built festival venue. So we'll see how that ties in. It appears that they are not doing any kind of summer festival, even though our speculation was that they were going to. Kind of a letdown that they build something for festivals without a festival opening in it. But it'd be like a McDonald's opening, but like you can't actually get burgers. You can't get food while you're there. It's like I can just walk in and play in the playground or whatever. But yeah, in addition to that, you guys can look out following that podcast for standalone videos on the channel about Mom's experience in Communicore Hall. And I think that about covers it. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
No.
Right on. Well, we'll see you next week with our Disney World current events. And until then, guys, let the wonder take hold.